This is October 24th, 2002. We're at the Oldham County History Center in LaGrange, Kentucky. We're interviewing John W. Raisor. My name is Earl Orr, and the camera person is Shirley Orr. Would you state your name?
My name's John W. Raisor.
And your date of birth?
It's August the 27th in 1921.
Could you tell us a little about growing up in Kentucky?
I was just a farmer, and when I got drafted, I was.
Where did you go to high school?
I was running a dairy for Duncan in Pendleton, Kentucky.
And were you drafted or did you enlist?
I was drafted. My daddy signed me up as a conscientious objector. When I got to Atterbury, they asked me, said, "What do you want?" I said, "I'll take the regular Army." So I did.
So you were drafted, and where did you do your basic training?
I took my basic training in Camp Hood, Texas, and California, Needles, California.
Do you recall any experiences when you were in basic training?
I had a lot of experience when I was in basic training. I couldn't get my feet to work right somewhere there.
After basic training, where did they send you?
I was on the train in old Mexico, and I got sick, and they took me off there. And I stayed about a week in the hospital. Then I went to Porter and Barclayton in Boston, Massachusetts. Went to England.
What kind of ship did you go over to England on?
Just a regular old passenger ship. They had a buku of soldiers they sent nowhere for reemplacement.
Was it crowded on the ship?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you sleep?
They had some in the hammocks, or whatever you call them, hanging hamsters.
And what did you do during the day on the ship?
Well, if you didn't want to get seasick, well, you had to kind of walk around or do something, to occupy your mind. A lot of them was, sick. Buku of them got sick. I didn't get sick neither way, going or coming.
Were you concerned about submarines?
Well, it didn't give me a thought. I just figured, man, well, I don't know whether I'm going to make it over there or not, but the good Lord took me over there. How
was the food on the ship?
It was good, but the Navy, they had beans for breakfast. I've always heard that, but they did.
And how did you pass the time on the ship?
Well, we just walked around. I'd go up to the top deck and stuff and see. And they had movies too.
Where did you land in England?
What is that?
Liverpool?
Yeah, Liverpool.
And how long were you in England?
I guess I could have been from 1 to 2 or 3 weeks, but I didn't keep much time of it.
Were you in barracks in England?
Yeah, they had barracks.
Then where did you go from England?
I went to Normandy, where they invaded.
This was at D-Day? How were you notified that you were to leave for
They
for
just came and
France?
got me, told me to come go with them. So I went, and it was a big load, a ship load that went over and landed over.
What kind of ship did you go over on?
I don't just recall the ship, but got off on them barges and things and money.
On the landing craft?
Mm-hmm.
Was the water rough?
Yes, it was rough. And there's a big hill there where the Germans were pounding us.
So there was a lot of shooting
Oh,
as
yeah.
you went into the beach?
Oh, yeah.
Did they bring you close to the beach to let you off?
Well, yeah. They could hit right up to the beach. Of course, you was in the water when landed.
And then what did you do when you got on the beach?
Well, we went to a little old town up there on the hill. And then later they called me took me to that tank crew. And when I joined the tank crew, we went to Brest. And
Did you have training in the tank?
no. I had training in basic training. That's where I trained as a tank destroyer.
Okay, so you were a tank destroyer.
Yeah, a tank destroyer gunner. I made it corporal and when I hit the tank.
Describe what happened when you joined the tank crew.
Well, we went into battles, different battles. Every day.
How many are in the tank? How many people are in the tank?
5. It's a crew of 5. They had a driver, assistant driver, me, a gunner, and my sergeant, tank commander, and a loader.
So you joined the tank crew, then tell us where you went after you
We
joined
went
the
all
tank.
over them 5 places I told you, and my discharge said Normandy and France and
Well,
Belgium, Luxembourg.
going back to France, the day you joined the tank crew, where did you go?
We went into battles, different battles. And, I was in battle from the day I joined the tank crew until the last battle at the bridge at Vermont, who I told you about.
When you left the beach at Normandy, did you make it to Paris?
Paris. Yeah, we had Liberty Paris and all that.
How long did it take you to get to Paris?
Then I didn't keep no timing of it, because we traveled day and night.
On a normal day, what time did you get up, or how did they?
What time did we get up? We was up all the time.
You were up all the time?
There wasn't no bed. I never hit a bed
Where did you sleep?
in the tank. Our tank had a exhaust coming from behind, and we could turn the gun around if we wasn't traveling at night. And me and the sergeant would take our blanket and get on the back of it and try to sleep and listen to the shrapnel hitting our tank and the shells.
How'd you eat? Did you have to eat in the tank too?
Yes, sir. But we had to maybe pull back a day or so, or maybe, and we had a tank crew that cooked, that followed us and everything. And we'd go back and the old sergeant would cook up some of the best meals you ever got. He could cook pies, anything. He was a sheep herder.
How many other tanks were in your outfit?
Well, it was whole company. It's 4, I think. It's a whole company of. There's A company, B company, C company, and what do you call it? The headquarters and all that thing. Different. I think there's 5 different outfits.
Did you run across any German tanks after you
All
left
kinds
Normandy?
All kinds of them. That's where I got my medals. One time where I got that last decoration, we was there, and the infantry got in trouble there. We got out of our tank and went and helped the infantry
How did you help them?
with our little carbines and things. And this old German tank pulled in beside of a big building, and upstairs was one of our infantry boys. He throwed the hatch over, and the boy put a bullet through his helmet, and that's where we got our decorations and things.
So you went to Paris and you helped liberate Paris.
Yeah.
There
was no fighting much in Paris.
Did they bring you through Paris?
Yeah. We took ourselves through tank. We rode that tank all the time. That tank had a speed of 40 miles an hour.
How did the people in Paris treat you?
Well, after the war, I got a couple of weeks thing. They were very nice. And all francs and all, they would bring me a bottle and flowers.
When you went through Paris?
I went through Paris, and after the war, I went back for about a week.
Then you left Paris. Where did you go then?
I really couldn't keep because we couldn't see the country or nothing. Only the driver and the assistant driver. And I was down in the tank with the guns and the...
Did you ever get stuck in the tank or couldn't get in a predicament where you couldn't get out?
No, ma'am. Never. I had an excellent driver.
How did you get fuel for your tank?
Food?
Fuel.
We would stop or pull back, and a lot of times they would drop, when we would so far ahead the front line, they would drop our supplies and we'd have to go get them there. We had what you call a 10-to-1 ration. It's supposed to be for 10 but the tank of 5, they give it to us. Sometimes we get a mail call, sometimes not. Do you ever hear the Siegfried line?
Yeah.
We made there. That's the Our River. We went down, straight down to and then back up. The doughboys had to take that.
Were you able to get mail from home?
Yeah, we got mail from home every once in a while. We had a mail clerk that would come meet us in different places and things.
And you were able to write letters back home?
I couldn't write. I don't think I ever wrote. Like I said, my mother called the president, and the president got me word that I wasn't right.
So the Army came and notified you that
Yes,
you had not written to your mother?
Uh-huh. From the
then-
president.
And then they notified your mother that you were all right?
Yeah. Yes, sir, they did.
After leaving France, where did you go?
We went all the way through Germany and Holland, went to Poland. Did you ever hear of the Holy Cross? That was in Warsaw, Poland. That's where they killed the Jews. We liberated that too. And
Were you there when they liberated that?
yes, sir. I helped liberate it. And I spent the mayor of Warsaw, Poland, invited my company in, cooked us a big meal, and Yeah. And when I came back here, in Oldham County here, the Walmart, that little girl they call Edie, you ever meet her? She's a redhead, little redhead. She was a manager of Walmart, and she asked me to come in and help her. For 3 months, we took up collections for the monument